Oh god. This one's for the ladies. Well, for every gender, but especially for the ladies. Ladies, I'ma kill Odin. Its ashes are gonna be in a box and they're gonna be shipped to the moon. Got that book yesterday. I'm trying to level up. I'm trying to become peace, love, and healing. All this other stuff. I get about halfway through it, and I'm doing stuff that I know women that work with Odin, especially all genders that work with Odin, we're very data driven. We need to know the information. If you give us a book and you start listing stuff down as your proof, we have the internet. Even if we say to ourselves, I shouldn't do that, that's something sacred, I would never walk into a room and look at that. Nah. I got that book, right? And she starts talking about these people having died. I'm like, how do I know these people even existed? So I'm going digging through obituaries, which, I guess being the god of the dead, that's why. But I was like, this is too perfect. This book is too perfect. And these two people died, and I'm like, well, paranoid person I am. Did they write this? Like, are these fake obituaries? Like, and then I'm like, no, here's a news article. Here's a news article. Okay, those two people died, fine, but did they just construct this story? And I'm going to Odin all last night. I make it about halfway through the book. I'm in a rage all last night, and everything I believe in collapses. And I'm like, the gods aren't real, everything else isn't real. I said, all this evidence she could have got from them, she could have got it online, she could have got it, all this so-called drawings, prophetic drawings, they could have been done after the fact. How the hell do I know when this stuff was done, And what made me think about that is, you'll do stuff, especially as a writer, but I know all other people know this, and if you have YouTube too, there's nothing like proving you wrote something first and you didn't steal it from somewhere, you know? And people will steal your work. I've had people do it with writing, I've had people do it with videos. And you have to prove you are the owner of that content. Usually the only thing that proves it is that you have that timestamp on it, that you uploaded it, before they copied it. That's the only thing that proves it. Anyhow, get up. Still feeling terrible. Loki had turned the Loki around backwards, back away from me, and he's been systematically knocking down the butterflies too. He knocked one off the lamp, and it was like, I'll show you what I think. And it was all these coincidences. And it culminated with the butterfly thing with, I go on to Amazon to look to see, are the butterflies coming today? And they came. And you can kind of tell. I mean, it's starting to look like a sanctuary in here, which is the look I'm after. I saw the deal of the day was butterflies, like a butterfly kit, and I grew those a couple years when my parents were here, and I was like, oh, am I supposed to buy a kit? Because I used to buy kits, you would buy it and you would get this big tent and you would then send away the voucher and they would send you the horrible squigglies and they're like, yuck! And, they go and they cocoon and then you take the cocoon and you very carefully, so you don't kill your offspring, you like pin it to the inside of the big tent. You let them hatch, and then once they've hatched, you take them outside and you let them go because you're trying to help repopulate the world with pollinators is what you're trying to do. And I thought, well, okay. But I didn't get by that. What I actually got from Odin is after we were done putting up the kit today, he said, how many more would you need? Because he knows me like the back of his hand. And I said, two. I said, I'd need one of each kit. I said, I know the one kit's less detailed butterflies, but they come in a wider range of colors. And the other kit has bigger butterflies, but I said, I can't justify that. And something just told me go buy them. Okay, so I go buy the butterflies. After I buy the butterflies, I'm thinking, I'm so stupid. Why did I do that? Dairy Queen comes up on Pinterest a couple times. Like a sign. And I'm like, do they track you from YouTube to, Pinterest? And then this hippie van with butterflies on it comes up. And it was like I could hear Odin saying, I don't care if you're mainly a hippie. You might have a bad temper, but mainly you're a hippie. I don't care. I still love you anyhow. That made me cry. I cried buckets. I cried buckets. And then I went into VR. They have a new thing on Oculus. It's free. It's about set in 2050 and everything's gone. And there's only one dome on the planet left for all the pollinators, and they have all the bees and the butterflies in there. And there's something in there with butterflies. And I started to bawl my eyes out. Have you ever cried in VR? It's really painful because you have a box on your head and you suddenly cry. And there's no oxygen coming in like there normally is when you cry. Oh, it hurts so bad. Trust me, there's nothing worse than crying in VR. It is so painful. And people have even said they need to start putting this on these goggles because, in no other, other than said Hallmark movies, nobody else tries to make you cry. VR's like, oh, you're going to love this. You're going to cry buckets and fry out your headset. So I started to cry, and it was like this release I needed. And Odin told me I was supposed to have that explosion and breakdown and everything last night, that it was healing. But they were still a little like, well, now, this morning. And he's like, you don't have to believe everything she's done. Just use this book. Use her older stuff when you would have still sat down and had a drink with her. That's fine. You don't have to go as far as she's gone now, which is it's too far out of my comfort zone. It just is. And everything she was saying, I was bristling. And Odin said, and this goes a lot to the females, but it might apply to all other genders. So perk up those little Wolf of Odin ears. We're very territorial and we're highly insecure. Somebody coming over towards something we think is our territory, because this is our territory, we can get highly insecure, highly combative. And he's like, mm. I said, you're the god that chases other gods away. Doesn't care. This is my lesson. So, it was like, you're just bristling. And he said he could see the fur on my ruff, speaking of metaphors, just going up in the back, and the hackles are going up. And he says, I can hear that growl. You put that growl in your pockets where you can put it. I'm like, yeah. But she talks about aliens. She talks about St. Michael. And I bristled because I'm like, what's she doing in my territory? Stay in your lane, you hippie chick. And I was like, yeah, you're a real tough warrior, you. She's the one that was in the Navy, and I'm calling her hippie, but whatever. But it was super intense. And then a thing came up about her and her husband, and it's back 6 years ago, babe. I can't do math right now. So it seems like 6 years ago she was still pretty normal. I think I think that the researcher that Odin's people are just can't blend well with other people. And we stand by our research and we will fight you to the death over it. If there's an afterlife with Odin's people working in libraries still doing research, there will be a lot of bloodshed, because we will just be stabbing each other with pens and going, that's not what my research proof. And, cite your sources. And, he laughed through cheers and like, exactly, pens dipped in blood. Won't be monetizing this. But, we're like that. I'm like, sources, really loud. And Odin's like, oh, dear God. Because, like, her ideas on the runes and tarot cards and everything, I wanted to throw down. And how she viewed totems. I've heard all these pieces before. I'm pretty sure I know where she got a lot of them. It's not that they're wrong. It's just that I've come to very different conclusions, especially on the runes. All Odin's people start out that they're a bullshit alphabet. They aren't special. And go into the fuck you say about the runes? Let me tell you what the Allfather did for us. So yeah, Odin's people are touchy. We're like, that's why I said on that thing in the community tab, Odin pointed that out to me on Pinterest one time. He's like, that exactly. My wife is not delicate like a flower. She's delicate like a bomb. Or I've seen fragile too. So if you prefer that wording, my wife is not fragile like a flower. She's fragile like a bomb. It's like every single one of you. I don't know what the hell's wrong with all of you. I said, you keep picking the same type. So, so yeah, it was cathartic. I just cried to pieces. I don't know if I'll talk much about what we've been doing with the book, but it has been very healing. And if I think it's something that's going to help you guys out, of course, absolutely, I'll share it. But until then, I think it's just me cleaning out personal garbage I have to clean out. So if you like what you see and you want to see Odin shipped to the moon, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys. Becker. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.